Okay, so we're going to talk about multiplying decimals, where the decimals are just a little bit bigger than the previous video. So what I mean by that is that typically an exam question will be something like a swimming pool, the area of a swimming pool, or the area of patio, or a lawn, or something like that, where it'll be given to you in something like 5.4 meters multiplied by 2.7 meters, and what they want you to do is to multiply the two numbers together, the two decimal numbers together, and then work out the meterage or the area of the patio. Okay, so the way to look at that is that we're going to multiply 5.4 multiplied by 2.7. Okay, so we've got 5.4 times 2.7. Now the thing about working with decimals is that it's a lot easier to ignore the decimal point initially and just work with the numbers in order to make your calculation. So what I'm going to suggest is that you look at 54 times 27, and what I'm going to use is a process called long multiplication, and if you look at some of the other videos, that will show you a couple of different ways of performing this calculation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply through by 7, or the units. So 7 times 4 is 28, 2 to carry, 7 5s are 35, plus 2 is 37. Then I'm going to multiply through by the tens, and because I'm doing that, I'm going to put a 0 in the units column. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10. Then I'm going to add those two together. So 8, 15, 4, 1. So in other words, 54 multiplied by 27 is 1458. So the numbers I've got to deal with, or the digits, are 1458. However, I've now got to look after the decimal points. And like before in the previous video, I know that there is one decimal point there and one decimal point there. So in other words, the decimal point has moved along this way once there, and this way once there. So in other words, two places I'm moving my numbers along towards the right. So in other words, my decimal point is there. I need to move the numbers along in this direction. So in order to do that, I'm going to move the decimal point twice towards the left. So once, twice, and it's there. So the answer to 5.4 multiplied by 2.7 is 14.58. Just as a little tip, what is sometimes a little bit useful with these is to estimate before you carry out the calculation. So one of the things while I'm running this video and recording this video is I'm looking at 5.4 multiplied by 2.7 actually as 5 times 3, and 5 times 3 is 15. So I'm expecting my answer to be quite close to 15, and indeed it is. 4.58 is very close to 15. So sometimes when you're performing these calculations, if you're a little bit unsure about moving your decimal point, then work out the numbers, but then also be able to estimate the answer, and that should give you a very good guideline into how to perform the calculation. However, the method itself is to make sure that you move or you count the number of decimal places that it's moved, and then move the figures accordingly.